I beat Terraria Master Mode for the first time, and it was quite the journey. Terraria Master Mode isn't the hardest thing in Terraria, but I'm still proud to beat it. First things first, I spawned into the lovely world of Terraria, and immediately started my deforestation plan for housing. The class I was mainly going for was melee, since it's really the only class that I know, except for summoner, but I did use a bunch of ranger free hard mode. I started to do your typical Terraria early game progression, exploring caves, looting chests, stealing people's abandoned hearts, expanding my base, and I started to build my arena. I then went to get the Undertaker and headed back to start a elevator, but I didn't finish it till later. I decided to go to the jungle, and walking across the desert suddenly gave me inspiration to make a sand base, and it ended up looking like this. I know, it's pretty ass. I crossed the desert into the Crimson, and I saw this. Why is there a massive red schlong in my Crimson biome? Dead ass. Which freaky Terraria god made this? You telling me I gotta climb the schlong to get to the jungle? I finally went back to continue the elevator. I got a magic mirror, a bunch of ore, and for some reason this slime kept making me hard and I couldn't do anything. Through a while of exploring, I went to farm some eye lenses to craft the Eye of Cthulhu spawn. I bought a bunch of bullets from Andre and finally waited until night to fight the eye, and got eviscerated. Why, you may ask? Mostly because my arena is ass, I'm not max health, and I can't dodge to save the life of an orphan. So immediately, I started to make my arena bigger, and that's when I hate the goblin army. I fashioned myself this terrible lava trap which did not work whatsoever, so I just had to thug it out, and eventually I killed all the goblins. I farmed for even more lenses, died to piranhas, slaughtered 100 slimes which spawned in their king. I used the boomstick to keep my distance away, especially when he did his little teleport, and eventually I shot him to death. RIP King Slime. It was finally time to hydrate this dry eyeball with its own blood. I spawned the big eye and used a boomstick to hit him from range, while dodging all of his dashes pretty easily, and avoiding his little underlings. This repeated a few times until its second phase, and in the second phase, I used the exact same strategy. The Eye of Cthulhu is not a hard boss really, and eventually, I killed the Eye of Cthulhu. I got a new loadout with the help of the eye, and made a strange arena in the Crimson in preparation of the brain. I ventured into the jungle to find feral claws, and couldn't find it, because in Terraria, you have to not want the item to get the item. If you know, you know. I then went up into the Skyward Islands, and then got every single unique item I could get, even the fledgling wings. I will never be this lucky again. I got a sandstorm in a bottle, and started looking for the Goblin Tinkerer, and found him tied up in a suspicious pool of water. What did they do to bro? I don't know, but he deserves it. I went back to exploring and finally used up all the life crystals I could, and saved some to make some heart lanterns, and made a loadout for the Brain of Cthulhu. I fought him for the first time and got absolutely creepified. It's fine because I at least got enough tissue samples, right? I need 2 more. I re-challenged the Brain and used the boomstick to attack the creepers at range, which was pretty smooth sailing until its second phase. I kept using the boomstick, and I just had to identify the real brain. But then I started spazzing out to the point I pulled out my copper axe. I managed to get back into a little rhythm, but it was too late and got extremely close to beating the Brain of Cthulhu. I made a new pickaxe with the lovely samples we got, and gathered some obsidian and hellstone to make a new set of molten armor and weapons. I re-entered the jungle to find feral claws and an anklet of wind, and like 6 flare guns and 6 staffs of regrowths later, I got it. The anklet, not the claws. I had to go make another world to find it, and on the second chest I got it. Classic Terraria, bro. Next up was Skeletron, and for Skeletron I have one game plan only, and that is to get the Hive 5 and the Hive Pack. So I challenged the Queen Bee, and who would have guessed I died. Do you see the pattern? I re-challenged her and immediately started dodging whenever she did her little dashes, and went in with the volcano whenever she spawned in her little bees. That's when she's most vulnerable. This repeated a few times and I beat her. I made the new loadout for old Skelly Boy, made a few more houses at the beach, and started to make an arena for Skeletron. And using the Hive 5, the Hive Pack, and paired with the rolling skates for movement, I got his hands pretty easily. And his head was just left. I kept moving around the head when it fired skeletons and running away when he charged them, and I beat him at max health. I entered the dungeon, got the Mirror Master and the Cobalt Shield, and made the Knight's Edge. I went into Hell and raided the houses and chests where I got a bunch of gold, a Dark Lance, a Hellwing Bow, and a bunch of potions. And for the Wall of Flesh, I opted to go for the classic range tactic, so I put on some Necro Armor from the bones in the dungeon of course, and crafted a Star Cannon. I put down a bunch of Minecraft tracks using the roller skates and spawned in the Wall of Flesh. I used the Hellwing Bow to hit him at fair distance, which I used for most of the fight. I did occasionally switch to the Star Cannon for better DPS though. I kept hitting him from a range and actually ran out of track, but I managed to adapt and beat him just in time, and now it was hard mode. This is where it got bad, as opposed to the already bad boss fights. I did the normal hard mode or progression, farmed some souls, and got a bunch of Queen Slime spawns. I made a chick and tried to beat the Queen Slime and the twins, but I died pretty badly both times. I then made this weird minecart track and retried many times to beat both of these bosses and died. I eventually made Angel Wings, expanded the arena, and tried Skeletron Prime, and again got obliterated in seconds. I also tried the Destroyer and got absolutely destroyed. You see my problem? I'm just straight ass. Anyway, using some of the souls I had, I decided to spawn a Mimic, which dropped a Daedalus Stormbow, and with perfect timing, a Pirate Invasion spawned in. So, I locked myself in the Lava Trap and cheesed the Pirate Invasion with the Stormbow. But then the best thing happened to me, a Blood Moon. Not this one, but 3 Blood Moons later, I got my favorite item. Take a guess. You're wrong, or you're right, but the item is the Banana Rank. I mean, have you ever seen a banana so perfect? I decided to try Queen Slime again, and multiple times I got super close to beating her. I still kept trying though, and moving to avoid her little underlings. To be honest, they are the only reason I was losing. Her little underlings, they're mad annoying, and the projectiles they throw, mad annoying. I then re-fought her, and the Queen Slime could not handle the sheer amount of bananas I threw at her, and I finally beat her. In quick succession, I spawned in the twins as well, and died twice, before I decided to lock in. I threw these banana ranks like no one ever has before. I dodged between the cracks of the cursed flame while also throwing bananas at them, ducking under and over whenever they decided to dash. One of the eyes went into second phase, so I dodged and dodged. I kept my distance, trying to not get hit, but I decided to nurse heal when I was low, but not without a price. To avenge my fellow NPCs, I finally killed Spasmatism, which left Retinator, which took no time, and finally I beat the twins. I made the Glorious Excalibur, and still died to the Destroyer. I decided to spawn in Skeletron next, since I kinda found him easy. My tactic was to aim straight for the head and ignore its body parts. However, the laser cannon was really annoying, so I ended up destroying that first. I kept maneuvering away from its spinning head and limbs, which made for an easy kill. Next up was the Destroyer. This boss is ass if you don't know how to do it, and of course I didn't. After dying a few times, I expanded my arena and made a crucial mistake, not getting the Gungnir. To get some more hallowed bars, I actually killed the twins again and made a full set of hallowed armor, and not the Gungnir. Hallowed armor may have like an immunity thing, but it's not even that much better than adamantite. I'm stupid. It's okay, I'm learning. I died like 5 more times to the guy. I got big problems with this worm, and if you forgot, what you don't see is me spending hours farming for these bum ass summons. Yeah, don't feel sorry. It's because I'm ass. I went and bought the Mushroom Spear, but not the Gungnir. With the Excalibur, I had enough DPS. The only problem I was having was with these fuck ass lasers, bro. These lasers are so annoying. I made a platform so the lasers did not hit me, and buffed up before spawning him again. I hit the cluster with the spear for some big damage. I moved around my platform and switched between weapons to get some damage in. This was my primary strat. Manipulate the movement of the worm and position of the platform to avoid getting hit by lasers while also doing damage. Obviously it's harder to execute than you think, and I learned that mid-fight. Despite moving around the platform, the lasers kept chipping away at my health, so I played a little safe to try and regen some health while also whittling away at its health. I kept hitting it with the banana rank at a range, and it got really low, so I switched to the spear to try and end it, and amazingly, the rain cloud finished it off, which caused the jungle to go restless. I did some upgrades to my accessories and crafted the true knight's edge, and with dreadful timing, the solar eclipse decided to come. So I went into the jungle to gather turtle shells just to avoid it. I made some turtle armor, got some chlorophyte, and made this big arena for Plantera. Which I eventually made bigger after I died to it, of course. I found another Plantera ball and made my way to the arena, where I proceeded to do donuts repeatedly around this drugged up plant, throwing bananas at it as a natural fertilizer. I got it to its second phase and switched to the True Knight's Edge so I could hit its little seedlings, and came so close to dying twice. I eventually healed and switched to the banana rank to finish it off, which caused screams to echo from the dungeon. What they doing in the dungeon, bro? They doing some freaky ass shit. You know what? I bet Diddy's there, bro. I went straight to the temple and looted the shit out of those chests. I made the true Excalibur and spawned the solar eclipse, where I got this cool ass death sickle, probably one of the coolest weapons in the game. I also got the Eye of Cthulhu and the Broken Heroes Sword. Guess what I was gonna do next? Of course, I made a Terra toilet. Joking, only joking. I got the almighty Terra blade. I went back into the temple and spawned in Golem and died. Do you recognize the pattern now? How am I dying to vanilla Golem, lad? I'm not even max health and I don't have any buffs, while it was at 65 health. This just means that this boss is that easy. Anyway, I went back to the temple and killed him by moving left and right. Literally, the boss is that easy. But I didn't get the pixel, so I did the rematch and died. There's no hope for me. After dying, I made some beetle armor, killed the golem again, and got the pixel. I kidnapped the altar to my arena to farm him some more to get the eye of the golem. I made some changes to my accessories and headed to the dungeon to investigate who the heck is screaming, and it was the lunatic cultist. I killed its colleagues and angered his ass to the point of killing me. On the second attempt, I absolutely obliterated it and this little pet dragon. This fight actually taught me that if you hit the clone, it spawns more clones, so W progression for him. After that, the solar pillars spawned in, which were absolute hell to kill. I'm honestly gonna skip it for you guys. They are honestly the worst thing in this game, the pillars. Especially the purple pillar. Fuck that purple pillar. Who the hell, what is it called? Nebula pillar. Fuck that nebula pillar. That nebula pillar is ass. After I slayed all the pillars and made the daybreak, the tremors finally shook in, and the Moon Lord, with the most heinous entrance, flashbanged me, teleported in, and absolutely decimated. And in all fairness, rightfully so. Let me explain. I deadass had non-maxed health, no buffs, bum accessories. But what was I thinking? That death finally gave me a wake-up call though. I got the best weapons I could and new accessories, including the Betsy wings, the hero shield. I don't know why I didn't get the frozen shield. I think I got lazy. I deadass farmed for the frozen shell and I gave up like mid-time and I realized I had flesh knuckles at home. So that probably would have made my experience much easier, but oh well. I got the master ninja gear as well. I also decided to fight Fishron a lot, and I mean a lot for no reason. I finally got to max health and refought the Moon Lord and died. Shocker. I fought the Empress of Light, and with the daybreak, I broke through the night. And it dropped the soaring insignia and the starlight, one of the coolest weapons, not gonna lie. Of course I had to re-kill this stupid cultist and the pillars every time I ran out of Moon Lord summons, and so I refought the Moon Lord, and again I died. After this death, I kept trying to kill the Moon Lord repeatedly, and every time I died, I gathered my knowledge, seeing what things I could do to survive even for one more second. I died, found the shimmer, shimmered some items for increased passives, made a nurse home for quick healing and repositioning, and made every potion I could that was useful. I also learned the pattern of the Moon Lord, so I could dodge its projectiles and moves. I died again, but I definitely took a step forward. I gave my weapons the best tier I could and tried to get warding on most of my accessories. And on this attempt with these accessories, buffs, weapons, I spawned in the Moon Lord. Using the pattern I learned, I managed to mostly dodge most of its projectiles thrown at me. I kept switching between the eyes and dodging the laser periodically, recalling whenever I got low and using the nurse. I got all the eyes pretty low and I instantly switched to the daybreak to hit them from a distance. I took out all three of the eyes And now finally only the chest was left. The True Eyes kept doing major damage to me to protect their master, but my Daybreak kept doing that great DPS on him. I kept using the nurse whenever I was low, and kept hitting him with the Daybreak from a distance. And with the after effect of the Daybreak, I finally killed the Moon Lord. And after 32 hours, I beat Master Mode. Legendary Mode next? If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching this journey. I definitely wasn't ready for this, but I had a massive amount of fun grinding the pillars. I'm joking. This is my first time doing a video in this style, so hit the like and subscribe if you liked it. And hey, check out my other Terraria videos, even on the background or anything, you know. Yeah.